Second thing is do the insurance. This is an important thing. Do the insurance. It's become a little bit more commonplace now, but even back in the day, when you do a hotel, or particularly when you do an airline purchase and you're going overseas, da, 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 they have that option to say, all right, are you going to insure this? And it usually, oh, I should have looked up the percentage. Maybe if you know, you can tell me in the chat. But it usually ends up being a percentage of how much the flight costs. So it might be 1% of the flight. I don't know, maybe a little bit more, 2% of the flight. So if you have $1,000 flight that you're doing, then it might cost you $20. It's usually not that expensive. When you do that, you're able to go ahead and say, all right, this happened. I need to get out of this. I've recently had a funeral in the family. We're doing okay, but everybody's been pretty sad about it. That happened to hit when we were traveling. So that forethought to say, do the insurance, that's for situations like that. So instead of giving a call to the hotel or the airline, whatever, and saying, hey, we had a death in the family, the funerals happened on this day, we can't make it on there, but you can just skip all that rigmarole. Instead, you go ahead and send information to Alliance with a Z is one of them that's really popular. You'll see that in the airlines. There's some other ones, but again, they're easy to find because they've actually collaborated with these travel companies to actually allow the insurance. So yes, you might have got an excellent deal on your flight or your hotel, and you're like, I want to pay exactly $500. And if I go ahead and get this insurance, it's going to be $510. I don't feel good about that. I can get like that sometimes. I understand. You got my sympathy. I hear you. But then that $10 that's not, as painful as being in a situation where you have to take this trip or you're not able to say goodbye to a loved one or whatever because you can't change the situation, or you just lose a ton of money because you decide not to go. So take advantage of that. It's worth the money. Again, it's a lot easier than it was back in the day where you have to get the travel insurance separately. And it's like, oh my gosh, who wants to go through that? I've been through that a few times, and just do it. A good opportunity that we have is a new place called Safetywing Nomad Insurance. Yeah, it sounds like my kind of thing, right? If you're familiar with my work, since we all tend to be on our own, and I'm definitely in the solopreneur camp. Shout out to Safetywing. They have two different sets of insurance. Insurance for nomads. I think a lot of my 20s and 30s, I was a nomad, so I moved so much and all those things. So that would fit me. Not so much now. I'm pretty, I'm not going anywhere like that. Vegas is going to be my home for a little while, that kind of thing. So for nomads, so if you're traveling a lot, particularly if you're traveling outside of the country, they will hook you up with that. Then, which ties into the bigger business thing, ties to the size of your business. I've been a solopreneur for a while. So the nomad insurance makes sense. But if you have people, and some of y'all that I coach, you got people, right? Let me get my people. Let me talk to this person. I need this person to be there because they do this role. You're of another scale. They got you covered. Insurance for remote teams. And so that fits the current lifestyle. That's why I wanted to highlight this today, because it fits the current lifestyle that we have today. Both of them are fantastic. One, as it says, is for individuals and families. So again, I got little ones. We're not as little as they used to be, but I'm covered in insurance now. But if I needed to, then they'll be the hookup. And of course, remote teams for companies. So they have different products, different situations here. And then you get more details as far as how they work, where they work. What I like about them, and that's actually the bird thing, just cracks me up. Having your home country on the internet. What I love about this discussion is basically saying, okay, you can be in Morocco, you can be in Colombia, you can be in Japan, all places that I've been. And some of those times I've been in those places, I wasn't covered like that. Blue Cross Blue Shield wasn't trying to hook me up in Bogota. You know what I'm saying? And I know friends, people I care about, who've gotten sick overseas. Luckily, I was not one of them. You hear me knocking on wood, for real. So it's better, again, to get the insurance, get the coverage, especially we are all getting older. So I'm not as healthy as I was in the past. I don't spring back as much because I'm middle aged. A lot of us, and in fact, a lot of y'all that are watching are going into that phase too, right? Where it's not just, flying overseas, staying in a hostel for 7 days, which I've done before. Some of y'all have done too. Some of y'all that I've coached have had that lifestyle. But as you start to phase out of that, as you start to have little kids, or maybe you have older parents you need to take care of, maybe you have a team and you got people to take care of. This is a really smart way to do it without you having to, to go into the open health insurance marketplace here in America and then hope that they cover you when you're hanging out in Osaka. This is a great way to do it. So shout out to Safetywing. Really fascinating stuff that they're doing over there, for sure. If you want more insight into how you can travel without even without needing insurance at all, and you might be in a position where you're like, yeah, Damon, I'm traveled out, I'm not going anywhere. No. Here are ways you could travel without leaving home. I think it's a really important discussion. Some of y'all that I support, either y'all are viewers or I have one-on-one coaching with y'all. You can learn more about my coaching practice at DamonBrown.net if you're interested. You might not physically be able to travel because of a chronic illness, or, we talk about spoons culture, right? How many spoons do you have today? Like, how much energy do you have today? You might not be able to travel in this season. You might be like, no, I need to rest. Wonderful people that I know. Shout out to Ellie Cole, who's supporting the sickle cell community. I've learned so much about them over the last few months. Shout out to her. But so many people within my network are dealing with or are connected to people who are dealing with those types of things. It might be a thing where you got little kids at home, as I was for the first couple of years of our first son's life. And it's like, maybe you're not traveling like that. This is a great way to travel without leaving home. Check it out. If you are going to be on the road, Smart Holiday Travel 2024. Don't be fooled by the title of it. It happened to come out during the holidays. I want to say it came out in the holidays here in the United States. I want to say December, which feels like every religion has some type of ceremony in December, including my Hindi in-laws and my fam over there. But it fits that motif. But all things that I talk about apply to everything, including business travel. Be sure and check it out. Check out the vibe there and see what's happening. But yeah, do the insurance. Do the insurance. If you're staying at home, fine, don't do the insurance. But if you're going to be on the road, do the insurance. And it could be, again, you paying the 1 or 2% of the cost of the trip to do the alliance or whatever respective insurance they're offering. Most of the time they offer it right at checkout. Really easy. They'll put it right into the same credit card or whatever you're using. Doesn't have to be a separate thing. And you'll get a little contract. You don't have to sign it, but just a contract in your email later on. It'll be like, okay, this is the guidelines. Great, you're good. Or if you're actually going to be traveling and you want to make sure that you're covered health-wise, you and your people as applied, then check out Safetywing. Again, the link is below. Shout out to them for the interesting work they're doing over there. Today we're talking about how to do business travel on a budget. So important. How are y'all connected with folks? Do y'all usually do insurance, or do you do special travel insurance through like a credit card? Some of the credit cards offer that. How are you guys handling insurance? Have you been sick on the road before? How did you handle that? I always have a fear of that. Luckily, knock on wood, it hasn't happened to me, but that sounds wild. How did you deal with that when that happened? Feel free to jump in the comments and let me know what some of your experiences have been. I'm sure other people would appreciate that too.